Well, I think it was kind of a strange game. First of all, it was never any fun going against your former assistant and former player, even more important. But, you know, I really like Monty's team, and I'm not saying that to make things better. I mean, on film, games against Northern Kentucky and that we watched, I mean, what he did to Oakland was amazing. And I didn't think they played as well early. They didn't make any shots, and we didn't make any shots. And other than Cassius, he made a lot of shots. But, you know, on a negative, I thought we looked slow. I thought we looked lethargic. On a positive, I thought they did a great job of taking our breakaway, sending 5 guys back. And we didn't punish them on the offensive glass as much as we should have the first half because we didn't, just didn't go as much. I thought even our wings, guys that never looked slow, like Kyle and Matt and Josh, I just thought we looked slow. We just looked like we had too much time off, too much turkey. You know, sometimes you blame the coach because you worked too hard. That didn't happen. We worked harder before Christmas. Never taken 5 days off, so I think I'm just happy we won the game. Hopefully it'll benefit us later on, especially next week. But the next 2 days are going to be very important. Other positives, when Cassius has 24 points and shoots like he did and has 7 assists and no turnovers, and believe it or not, I mean, give German credit, a hell of a player, but he worked for every point he got. And something happened that hasn't happened here before, and that was that Cassius really took the challenge. And I thought the second half when he made those 2 threes late, the maddest guy in the arena was Cassius, and that's a big positive. I was really proud of what he did, how he played, how he made it work for his shots. I thought they did a great job on Nick Ward. They doubled him, tripled him sometimes. Nick had some great passes out in the first half, but nobody made any shots, so he would have had more assists. It's a shame because, you know, he did turn it over too much, although a couple of those were a 3-second call and charge. So they were weird calls, but, you know, we didn't do as good a job. We did a good job getting it into Nick. They did a good job of doubling and tripling them second half. I worked to our advantage because we made some shots. As far as Josh goes, I guess he tweaked his ankle just a little bit a day ago or 2 days. He doesn't even know when. He was a little sore before the game, and he just thought he was going to play, didn't think nothing of it, and just wasn't feeling good. So he didn't want to push it, so we got him out of there, and I'm sure they'll do an x-ray or anything, but nothing. And they do an x-ray right now if you get a toothache, but nothing, there's no worry about him, at least what I've been told. And we decided not to push him. He made the decision, but that probably hurt us a little bit too. I thought our freshmen, when they came in, actually moved the ball and did some decent things. So, exciting part of the day, Cassius all around, but his defense almost more than his offense, and 25 assists on 29 baskets is what this team has stood for. It's part of our identity right now, and it's a good identity. Questions?
Tom, I asked Monty, who came in with one of the best shooting teams in America, was it an off night for him or your defense? And he said it was your defense, not his team shooting. And I'm curious, does this team have an opportunity to be one of your elite defenses?
God, I wouldn't have guessed so, Hondo, to be honest with you. I wouldn't have thought that. But if Cassius guards like he does, and we can rotate guys in, and Nick is pretty good in the post guarding, and Kenny, who struggled today a lot, I thought, well, his conditioning is usually a real lockdown guy. But I think Monty's given us some credit, and we'll take a little bit of it, but I also think they missed some shots. You know, a combination of both. But when you watch that team on film, God, it is I thought it was the best team. You remember now, that team beat Oakland at Oakland by 20. I thought it was the best team of the non-BCS teams that we played. They didn't play as well today. I hope we had something to do to it. Yet there were times we didn't play as well today, and I think they had something to do with it, the double in the post, to getting back and transition and really stopping our break, and they did some good things in that.
Tom, if you think Cassius' kind of attitude towards those defensive assignments changed at all? I mean, is he relish kind of getting tough guys?
You know, I told him when he went home from Christmas, I was saying I should bring him, and he did. But, you know, what I talked to Cassius about, because he's been playing really well. He really has. But like you do with your team, you do with a player, you want to elevate him, you know. If he's a good player, you want to make him a great player. If he's a great player, you want to make him an elite player. And to elevate yourself, you've got to, you know, you've got to do things that you weren't as good at. And I really honestly believe he had 3 really good days of practice. And it's not going to change overnight, but I think he sees the importance for himself in his future and for us in our future. And he did a good job, and he deserves the credit for it. And you know, there's been enough times I stood up here and said he didn't do a good enough job. And so I think it is him. When he comes out of the game, and I mean, he was talking like me. He was using UP language when that kid hit the 2 threes at the end because he was mad. And I went up to him and said, God, I don't know if I'm prouder of you that you're mad or prouder at you that you learned to speak the right language. I didn't know which one, but both were good points, and I was really pleased with the way he played.
Tom, you mentioned a second ago how important the next couple of days are. We kind of talked about the other day that now that the Big Ten is back, even though they're not back at school, you're going to start getting into more of this routine.
Yeah.
And not all this time on.
Yeah.
How much is that going to help this team, and how big is this first week coming up where you got to jump back in?
Well, you know, I told you what I didn't like about our team today. I thought we were lethargic. I thought we had some guys out of shape, but I got nobody to blame but myself because I've got to figure out the scheduling. And I think the Big Ten does in general. You know, I think we got to figure out what we're going to do. You can't play 3 games in 21 days, or, you know, that's not healthy for anybody. And the way that beginning is, it's I don't know what, but I got to do a better job first of all. And getting into a routine, I think, is going to help us. But these next 3 days, you know, I don't think our conditioning is that bad because it was good before. Cash was great today. Cash had a good point to me on the bench. I sat with him, talked to him in the last couple of minutes. He says, like we were out of rhythm, coach. You know, the wings weren't running, the middle guy wasn't running. Well, then when the wings ran, the middle didn't. When the middle ran, the wings didn't. And so we're out of rhythm. And I thought that was very well put. And my job to fix that. But it's plenty fixable because it's something we've done day after day.
Sort of building up on Kyle's question, you said in the pregame show that you feel like there comes a time where a player and the coach have to meet on the same page in order for that player to grow. Is that kind of where you're at with Cassius? Do you think he's playing his best basketball right now, or have you seen a lot of improvement from maybe the beginning of the year?
You know, I've seen some improvement, but I think he's definitely playing his best basketball since he's been here. And on the same page as I think he really understands that he's got to push the ball and he's got to guard pretty good. And that's the same page stuff. And I think, you know, I think he's going to grow even more. I mean, just the way he handled himself in the huddles, you know, he started showing more leadership. Like I said, for everybody, you figure it out, and I think he realizes that he is very, very important to this team and very important in what he does. And so it's fun to challenge a guy and then have him respond to the challenge. And it'd be a good question to ask him. But I'd say that, you know, 24/7, you know, 8 for 10, 6 for 7, 2 for 2 from the line, no turnovers, a pretty good defense. You know, even guys on the bench, it used to be like Valentine used to get to that point when he'd guard somebody, you know, a couple times Cassius wasn't in there and they scored and he was mad on the bench, you know, because it looks bad. And I thought that was a great step in the right direction, and I think this whole week of practice has been good, but I think he's been growing here last 3-4 games where he really understands how valuable that pushing the ball is. And so to do those 2 things takes great conditioning. So far he's shown that he has it.
obviously 57 shots, 29 3-pointers, more than half your shots from 3X. How would you kind of assess those shots? I know it's part of the game plan when they being double teamed. So
Yeah, I wasn't crazy about it. You know, I thought we forced a couple early. When you take over half your shots are threes. Glad you brought that up because that's probably, I mean, we had some good ones because of the way they doubled Nick. But I thought we forced a couple early, you know. I thought we got a little impatient early, forced a couple up there, and, you know, Kenny makes one, and, you know, all of a sudden he's a three-point shooter, and, you know, I mean, he can make a shot, but I thought we were living and dying with that a little bit early in the game. Just having that Cassius was making him. Josh struggled from there a little bit, and I didn't think McQuaid looked at the hoop enough. So I wouldn't say that we want to be a half three-point shooting team, but I would say that the circumstances today, the way they clamp down inside, are going to lead to more threes.
Tom, you talked about Kenny not having that kind of game that you wanted, and I don't know how you grade out, but I'm guessing X is going to get a pretty good grade as far as his contributions off the bench today.
Yeah. You know, it's funny you say that because you're right, and 13 rebounds makes it step up on you, and he did some good things, but even X wasn't running as hard. I didn't think anybody ran except Cassius today. And I think they got frustrated because, you know, because Monty did a good job of getting them back, to be honest with you. But we can't let that deter from what we're doing. I told Cassius second half, hey, if you're pushing it and they're not running, you're just wearing yourself out for no reason because you're going to score 1 on 4. So, you know, I thought X was our next best. I actually liked what Nick did because the way they doubled them, last year we were sitting there DJing on the bench saying last year he'd have been so frustrated and he didn't. I mean, he made some great passes. I mean, he should have had 6, 7 assists if we make any shots the first half. So I liked the way he did in that, but he too got a little frustrated, and you know, later on, and that's pretty normal, and that's what a team tries to do. I thought it was physical. That kid was strong from Northern Illinois, and I thought it got a little physical. I voiced my opinion a few times, but you know, all in all, X was probably the next best, and then. You know, Kenny had decent stats, although he didn't rebound very well, which shows that he's not where he probably has been. And he had a few blocks, and we just thought that he was a step slow today compared to what he's been. So, wasn't a great day, I don't think, for either team. First half they missed shots, we missed shots. Second half we made shots. They made a few more shots, but not as many. But I was more worried about the. Cassius calls it rhythm, I'll call it conditioning. We'll find a happy medium.
Time for 1 or 2 more.
Yeah, I don't know if the stat line will show this, but it seemed like there was another game where Foster looked more comfortable on the court. Is that an assessment you would agree with? And is he kind of earning more time?
Yeah,
or
you know, he's getting there. I mean, he's getting there. You know, I've listened to so many coaches. I love this time of year with the football playoffs going on. It's like the Final Four, you know, all these human interest stories on coaches. And you hear so many coaches talking about 2 things, you know, some distractions over Christmas and kids aren't eligible or whatever. And the other one is, you know, how one guy was patient, and patience is not a good virtue right now in society. So, you know, they're all progressing. I was actually pleased with all of them today. I didn't think Aaron went as hard as he could go, but I'm putting Aaron in a different space because I think he has so much to give. But, you know, we made some progress, and I think Foster has been practicing better. Cassius has actually done an incredible job with Foster. I don't know why. I don't know if he looks at him like a little brother or what, but he's really helped that kid out. And I think, you know, Xavier has helped a couple of them out. Xavier was talking yesterday to Gabe and to Marcus. You know, last year Xavier was playing 3-4 minutes a game. At this time, he wasn't even playing. And then halfway through the Big Ten, he started playing more. And by the end, he was playing 8-10 minutes a game, and he averaged 7 minutes. But this day and age, everybody wants to play a lot, and so it gets frustrating for those guys. But I think Foster's getting better in practice, which is helping him in games.
Steve. Tom, I was curious now with non-conference season obviously over, if you could go back to November and whatever questions you had about your team then, are you satisfied with any number of the answers that you got relative to those questions during the non-conference season?
Good question. I think we're a little better defensively after the first 3 games. You know, I said, well, this could be a disaster defensive team, and I would agree with Kyle that we've become one of our better so far anyway. I think that the guys that I'd have the most problem with right now is me, because I still, you know, I'm trying so hard to get a couple of those freshmen in there, and yet, you know, I haven't come up with a great substitution pattern. We were really working on it today, and then Josh went out, and that created some problems. But I think we have a good one with our bigs, and not a great one with our guards yet. And so that would be something that I think we still got to improve on. But I'd say that, you know, if I graded us out, I don't know what I'd give us. You know, if I give us an A, I'd get killed. If I give us a D, I'd get killed. So I think that we had a hell of a run. If you look at who we played, if you look at where we played them, and when we played them, you know, those 16 games or days, I thought we did a good job. You know, I get frustrated more over that Louisville loss. And then I was so frustrated that I watched it yesterday morning with my staff to figure out just what you said. Where were we back then? Where are we now? And, you know, as you remember, McQuaid didn't play in that game. Cash has gotten all the foul trouble. You know, we had some things that went wrong. So I think we're better prepared now. We got a long way to go to compete in this league, though, I think. Because I think every night's going to be but we have a good guy in Cassius that I think you want his hands on the ball late in games. So I think there's going to be a lot of tight games, a lot of close games. The league is, I think, still really, really, really good. I really do. I think some of the worst teams are hardest places to play. There's not any real bad teams. And there's a lot of good. I mean, I don't know when the last time we had 5, 6, 7 teams ranked in the top 25, but I think all of them are deserving. You know, you think of a team like Iowa, who we beat pretty good here, and I said then they did not play good, and we played really good. And they're still ranked in the top 20 or 25, you know, and they're good. So a lot of things that we got to work on yet and improve on. Hopefully we will. Well, if I don't see you guys, have a good New Year. Take care of yourself, behave yourself, and some of you guys are probably going out to the football game.
Yep.
No?
Yes.
Yeah, a couple of you. And enjoy it, man. I'll talk to you later.
Thanks.